Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. We have got The Perks of Being a Wallflower Part 3. So without further ado, we're on page 45. November 7th, 1991. Dear friend, it was one of those days that I didn't mind going to school because the weather was so pretty. The sky was overcast with clouds and the air felt like a warm bath. I don't think I ever felt that clean before. When I got home, I had to mow the lawn for my allowance, and I didn't mind one bit. I just listened to music and breathed in the day. I remembered things like walking around the neighborhood and looking at the houses and the lawns and the colorful trees and having that be enough. I do not know anything about Zen or things that the Chinese or Indians do as part of their religion, but one of the girls from the party with the tattoo and belly button ring had been a Buddhist since July. She talks about very little else except maybe how expensive cigarettes are. I see her at lunch sometimes, smoking between Patrick and Sam. Her name is Mary Elizabeth. Mary Elizabeth told me that the thing about Zen is that it makes you connected to everything in the world. You are part of the trees and the grass and the dogs, things like that. She even explained how her tattoo symbolized this, but I can't remember how, so I guess Zen is a day like this when you are part of the air and remember things. One thing I remember is that the kids used to play a game. What you would do is take a football or something, and one person would have it, and all the other kids would try to tackle that kid. And then whoever got the ball next would run around with it, and the kids would try to tackle him. This could go on for hours. I never really understood the point of this game, but my brother loved it. He didn't like to run with the ball so much as he liked to tackle people. The kids called the game Smear the Queer. I didn't really think about what that means until now. Patrick told me the story about him and Brad, and now I understand why Patrick didn't get angry at Brad at the homecoming dance for dancing with a girl. When they were both juniors, Patrick and Brad were at a party together with the rest of the popular kids. Patrick actually used to be popular before Sam bought him some good music. Patrick and Brad both got pretty drunk at this party, actually. Patrick said that Brad was pretending to be a lot drunker than he really was. They were sitting in the basement with some girl named Heather, and when she left to go to the bathroom, Brad and Patrick were left alone. Patrick said it was uncomfortable and exciting for both of them. You're in Mr. Bronsham's class, right? Have you ever gone to a Pink Floyd laser light show? Beer before liquor, never sicker. When they ran out of small talk, they just looked at each other, and they ended up fooling around right there in the basement. Patrick said it was like the weight of the whole world left both their shoulders. But Monday in school, Brad kept saying the same thing. Man, I was so wasted, I don't remember a thing. He said it to everyone who was at the party. He said it a few times to the same people. He even said it to Patrick. Nobody saw Patrick and Brad fool around, but Brad kept saying it anyway. That Friday, there was another party, and this time Patrick and Brad got stoned, although Patrick said that Brad was pretending to be a lot more stoned than he really was. And they ended up fooling around again, and Monday in school, Brad did the same thing. Man, I was so wasted, I don't remember a thing. This went on for 7 months. It got to a point where Brad was getting stoned or drunk before school. It's not like he and Patrick were fooling around in school. They only fooled around at parties on Fridays. But Patrick said Brad couldn't even look at him in the hall, let alone speak with him. And it was hard, too, because Patrick really liked Brad. When summer came, Brad didn't have to worry about school or anything, so his drinking and smoking got a lot worse. There was a big party at Patrick and Sam's house with the less than popular crowd. Brad showed up, which caused quite a stir because he was popular, but Patrick kept a secret as to why Brad came to the party. When most people left, Brad and Patrick went into Patrick's room. They had Devil's Tango for the first time that night. I don't want to go into detail about it because it's pretty private stuff, but I will say that Brad assumed the role of the girl in terms of where you put things. I think that's pretty important to tell you. When they were finished, Brad started to cry really hard. He had been drinking a lot and getting really, really stoned. No matter what Patrick did, Brad kept crying. Brad wouldn't even let Patrick hold him, which seems rather sad for me, because if I did that with someone, I would want to hold them. Finally, Patrick just pulled up Brad's pants and said to him, "Just pretend you're passed out." Then, Patrick got dressed and walked around the house to go into the party from a different direction than his bedroom. He was also crying pretty bad, and he decided if anyone asked him, he would say his eyes were red from smoking. Finally, he shook himself out of it and walked into the main party room. He acted really drunk. He went to Sam. "Have you seen Brad?" Sam saw the look in Patrick's eyes. Then she spoke up to the party. "Hey, has anyone seen Brad?" Nobody at the party had, so a few people went to search for him. They finally found him in Patrick's room, asleep. Finally, Patrick called Brad's parents because he was really worried about him. He didn't tell them why, but he said that Brad was really sick at this party and needed to be taken home. Brad's parents did come, and Brad's father, along with some of the other boys, including Patrick, carried Brad to the car. Patrick doesn't know if Brad was really asleep or not at this point, but if he wasn't, it was a good acting job. Brad's parents sent him to rehabilitation because Brad's father didn't want him to miss his chance at a football scholarship. Patrick didn't see Brad for the rest of the summer. Brad's parents never did figure out why their son was getting stoned and drunk all the time. Neither did anybody else, except the people who knew. When the school year started, Brad avoided Patrick a lot. He never went to the same parties as Patrick or anything until a little over a month ago. That was the night he threw rocks at Patrick's window and told Patrick that nobody could know. And Patrick understood. They only see each other now at night on golf courses and at parties like Bob's, where the people are quiet and understand these things. I asked Patrick if he felt sad that he had to keep it a secret, and Patrick just said that he wasn't sad because at least now, Brad doesn't have to get drunk or stoned to make love. Love always, Charlie. November 8th, 1991. Dear friend, Bill gave me my first B in advanced English class for my paper on Peter Pan. To tell you the truth, I don't know what I did differently from the other papers. He told me that my sense of language is improving along with my sentence structure. I think it's great that I could be improving on these things without noticing. By the way, Bill gives me A's on my report cards and letters to my parents. The grades on these papers adjust between us. I have decided that maybe I want to write when I grow up. I just don't know what I would write. I thought about maybe writing for magazines, just so I could see an article that didn't say things like I mentioned before, as wipe the honey mustard off of her lips. She spoke to me about her third husband and the healing power of crystals. But honestly, I think I'd be a very bad reporter because I can't imagine sitting across the table from a politician or a movie star and asking them questions. I think I would probably just ask for their autograph for my mum or something. I would probably get fired for doing this. So I thought about maybe writing for a newspaper instead, because I could ask regular people questions. But my sister says that newspapers always lie. I do not know if this is true, so I'll just have to see when I get older. I did start working for a fanzine called Punk Rocky. It's a C-Rocks magazine about punk rock and the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I don't write for it, but I help out. Mary Elizabeth is in charge of it, just like she is in charge of the local Rocky Horror Picture Show showings. Mary Elizabeth is a very interesting person because she has a tattoo that symbolises Buddhism and a belly button ring and wears her hair to make somebody mad. But when she's in charge of something, she acts like my dad when he comes home from a long day. She is a senior, and she says that my sister is a tease and a snob. I told her not to say anything like that about my sister again. Of all the things I've done this year so far, I think I like the Rocky Horror Picture Show the best. Patrick and Sam took me to the theatre to see it on Halloween night. It's really fun because all these kids dress up like people in the movie, and they act out the movie in front of the screen. Also, people shout at the movie on cue. I guess you probably know this already, but I thought I'd say it anyway, in case you didn't. Patrick plays Frankenfurter, Sam plays Janet. It's very hard to watch the movie because Sam walks around in her underwear when she plays Janet. I'm really trying not to think of her that way, which is becoming increasingly difficult. To tell you the truth, I love Sam. It's not a movie kind of love either. I just look at her sometimes, and I think she is the prettiest and nicest person in the whole world. She is also very smart and fun. I wrote her a poem after I saw her in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, but I didn't show it to her because I was embarrassed. I would write it out for you, but I think that would be disrespectful to Sam. The thing is that Sam is now going out with a boy named Craig. Craig is older than my brother. I think he may even be 21 because he drinks red wine. Craig plays Rocky in this show. Patrick says that Craig is cut and hunky. I do not know where Patrick finds his expressions, but I guess that he's right. Craig is cut and hunky. He is also a very creative person. He's putting himself through the Art Institute here by being a male model for JCPenney catalogues and things like that. He likes to take photographs, and I've seen a few of them, and they are very good. There is this one photograph of Sam that is just beautiful. It would be impossible to describe how beautiful it is, but I'll try. If you listen to the song Asleep, and you think about those pretty weather days that make you remember things, and you think about the prettiest eyes you've known, and you cry, and the person holds you back, then I think you will see the photograph. I want Sam to stop liking Craig. Now, I guess maybe you think that's because I'm jealous of him. I'm not, honest. It's just that Craig doesn't really listen to her when she talks. I don't mean that he's a bad guy, because he's not. It's just that he always looks distracted. It's like he would take a photograph of Sam, and the photograph would be beautiful, and he would think that the reason the photograph was beautiful was because of how he took it. If I took it, I would know that the only reason it's beautiful is because of Sam. I just think it's bad when a boy looks at a girl and thinks that the way he sees the girl is better than the girl actually is. And I think it's bad when the most honest way a boy can look at a girl is through a camera. It's very hard for me to see Sam feel better about herself just because an older boy sees her that way. I asked my sister about this, and she said that Sam has low self-esteem. My sister also said that Sam has a reputation when she was a sophomore. According to my sister, Sam used to be a blow queen. I hope you know what that means, because I really can't think about Sam and describe it to you. I am really in love with Sam, and it hurts very much. I did ask my sister about the boy at the dance. She wouldn't talk about it until I promised that I wouldn't tell anybody, not even Bill. So I promised. She said that she has been seeing this boy secretly since Dad said she couldn't. She says she thinks about him when he's not there. She says they're going to get married after they both finish college and he finishes law school. She told me not to worry because he hasn't hit her since that night, and she said not to worry because he won't hit her again. She really didn't say any more other than that, although she kept talking. It was nice sitting with my sister that night because she almost never likes to talk to me. I was surprised that she told me as much as she did, but I guess that since she's keeping things secret, she can't tell anybody, and I guess she was just dying to tell somebody. But as much as she told me not to, I do worry a lot about her. She is my sister, after all. Love always, Charlie. November 12th, 1991. Dear friend, I love Twinkies, and the reason I'm saying that is because we're all supposed to think of reasons to live. In science class, Mr. Z told us about an experiment where they got this rat or mouse, and they put this rat or mouse on one side of a cage. On the other side of the cage, they put a little piece of food, and this rat or mouse would walk over to the food and eat. Then they put the rat or mouse back on its original side, and this time they put electricity all through the floor where the rat or mouse would have to walk to get the piece of food. They did this for a while, and the rat or mouse stopped going to get the food at a certain amount of voltage. Then they repeated the experiment, but they replaced the food with something that gave the rat or mouse intense pleasure. I don't know what it was that gave them intense pleasure, but I am guessing it's some kind of rat or mouse nip. Anyway, the scientists found out was that the rat or mouse would put up with a lot more voltage for the pleasure, even more than for the food. I don't know the significance of this, but I find it very interesting. Love always, Charlie. November 15th, 1991. Dear friend, it's starting to get cold and frosty here. The pretty fall weather is pretty much gone. The good news is that we have holidays coming up, which I love especially now because my brother will be coming home, maybe even for Thanksgiving. At least I hope he does for my mum. My brother hasn't called home in a few weeks now, and Mum just keeps talking about his grades and sleeping habits and the food he eats, and my dad keeps saying the same thing. He's not going to get injured. Personally, I like to think my brother is having a college experience like they do in the movies. I don't mean the big fraternity party kind of movie. More like the movie where the guy meets a smart girl who wears a lot of sweaters and drinks cocoa? I always mess up at that word. They talk about books and issues and kiss in the rain. I think something like that would be very good for him, especially if the girl were unconventionally beautiful. They are the best kind of girls, I think. I personally find supermodels strange. I don't know why this is. My brother, on the other hand, has posters of supermodels and cars and beers and things like that on the walls in his room. I suppose if you had a dirty floor, it's probably what his dorm room looks like. My brother always hated making his bed, but he kept his clothes closet very organised. Go figure. The thing is, when my brother does call home, he doesn't say a lot. He talks about his classes a little bit, but mostly he talks about the football team. There is a lot of attention on the team because they are very good and they have some really big players. My brother said that one of the guys will probably be a millionaire some days, but that he is dumb as a post. I guess that's pretty dumb. My brother told this one story where the whole team was sitting around the locker room talking about all the stuff they had had to do to get into college football. They finally got around to talking about SAT scores, which I have never taken. And this guy said, I got a 710. And my brother said, math or verbal? And the guy said, huh? And the whole team laughed. I always wanted to be on a sports team like that. I'm not exactly sure why, but I always thought it'd be fun to have glory days. Then I would have stories to tell my children and golf buddies. I guess I could tell people about punk Rocky and walking home from school and things like that. Maybe these are my glory days, and I'm not even realising it because they don't involve a ball. I used to play sports when I was little, and I was actually very good. But the problem was that it used to make me too aggressive, so the doctors told my mum I'd have to stop. My dad had glory days once. I've seen pictures of him when he was young. He was a very handsome man. I don't know any other way to put it. He looked like all old pictures look. Old pictures look very rugged and young, and the people in the photographs always seem a lot happier than you are. My mother looks beautiful in old pictures. She actually looks more beautiful than anyone, except maybe Sam. Sometimes I look at my parents now and wonder what happened to make them the way they are. And then I wonder what will happen to my sister when her boyfriend graduates from law school, and what my brother's face will look like on a football card, or what it will look like if it's never on a football card. My dad played college baseball for 2 years, but he had to stop when Mum got pregnant with my brother. That's when he started working at the office. I honestly don't know what my dad does. He tells a story sometimes. It is a great story. It has to do with the state championship for baseball when he was in high school. It was the bottom of the 9th inning, and there was a runner on first. There were 2 outs, and my dad's team was behind by 1 run. My dad was younger than most of the varsity team because he was only a sophomore, and I think the team thought he was going to blow the game. He had all this pressure on him. He was really nervous and really scared. But after a few pitches, he said he started feeling in the zone. When the pitcher wound up and threw the next ball, he knew exactly where the ball was going to be. He hit it harder than any other ball he ever hit in his whole life, and he made a home run, and his team won the state championship. The greatest thing about the story is that every time my dad tells it, it never changes. He's not one to exaggerate. I think about all this sometimes when I'm watching a football game with Patrick and Sam. I look at the field and I think about the boy who just made the touchdown. I think that these are the glory days for that boy, and this moment will just be another story someday, because all the people who make touchdowns and home runs will become somebody's dad, and when his children look at his yearbook photograph, they will think that their dad was rugged and handsome and looked a lot happier than they are. I just hope I remember to tell my kids that they are as happy as I look in my old photographs, and I hope that they believe me. Love always, Charlie. Anyways, we will we will finish it there for today. So I hope you guys have all enjoyed, and I will see you for a new installment soon. Bye bye.